Yet it was impossible for me to say to people, "Speak louder, shout, for I am deaf." How could I possibly admit an infirmity in the one sense which ought to be more perfect in me than others? A sense which I possessed in the highest perfection, a perfection such as few in my profession enjoy or ever have enjoyed. Oh, I cannot do it. Therefore, forgive me when you see me draw back, when I would have gladly mingled with you. Oh, out of that no hope, what great hope have you? No hope that weighs, another way so high, a hope that even ambition cannot pierce a wing beyond, but doubt discover alone. You have just heard two quotes. Of course, you have all recognized the second quote by William Shakespeare from his play The Tempest, words of Antonio. And the first quote is not that famous, although it sounds very piercing, touches your heart and makes you sing. It is Ludwig van Beethoven, author of wonderful music, which is now performed by the great pianist Sviatoslav Richter. These words are taken from a tragic document that was related with one of the most difficult periods in Beethoven's life, the Heiligenstadt Testament. Just at that time, he began to lose his hearing, and for the composer, it was a disaster, a tragedy. The Testament was written in 1802, and that same year the music for Sonata Opus 31 No. 2 was created, of which we will speak today. Surprisingly, in this sonata we do not hear any hopelessness, any breakage or exhaustion. On the contrary, this music is full of life, strength and passion. In this sonata there are three movements. The first movement deals with a collision of two images, a prayer and an offensive. The second movement is meditative, an image of the slow aria, reflections, and the third movement is narrative. In this sonata, we will not find Beethoven's heroics, images of struggle and overcoming. The first bars, largo, sound both as reflection and as a spell, a challenge to cherished images. After a slow introduction, an excited movement burst in, an extraordinary image of passionate anxiety. Further development of the main theme gives a very vivid example of the inner contradiction of the image. The base volitional order is answered by a grievous singing complaint. The second theme of the sonata is a subordinate theme. The subordinate theme comes in unnoticed as a result of rapid development. Here the composer conveys a very subtle, deep, soulful excitement. A new appearance of spellbinding fanfare appears in further development. Now it is quiet, tender, wrapped in a run of bass arpeggios, playing with the miraculous colors of harmonic comparisons. This may remind us of the image of Prospero, taming the elements, from The Tempest by Shakespeare. The second movement of the sonata, Adagio, takes us to another world of images. In the other movement, passion prevailed, whereas here there is majestic calm and blissful contemplation. Also in the other movement, there is an impulse of the soul, and yet in the second movement of the sonata, the ability to feel and enjoy the world calmly around us is reborn. Witchcraft, obsession of emotion has broken down. Man has returned to the harmony of his feelings, mind, and will. The third movement of the sonata, according to Karl Czerny, a famous performer, teacher, and pupil of Beethoven himself, was improvised by Beethoven, which was inspired by free running of a horse. According to Czerny, many of Beethoven's most beautiful thoughts came from such accidents. Every sound, every movement will become music and rhythm in his hands. Other performers prefer to see this piece as an airy, subtle, passionate aspiration for the impossible. The continuous movement of the music is strictly enduring, but Beethoven draws many different effects from this seemingly monotony. These are the contrast of registers, dynamic shades and tonalities. The dominance of minor keys give the music of the finale lyrical and affectionate flavor. At the end of our talk, we will return to the piercing words written by Beethoven in his Heiligenstadt Testament, when he realized that he was facing the most terrible disease that could ever happen to a musician, the deafness. And once again, let us remember that the soulful music of the sonata, Opus 31, number 2, was created the same year. My misfortune is doubly painful to me, because I am bound to be misunderstood. For me there can be no relaxation with my fellow men, no refined conversations, no mutual exchange of ideas. I must live almost alone, like one who has been banished. I can mix with society only as much as true necessity demands. If I approach near to people, a hot terror seizes upon me, and I fear being exposed to the danger that my condition might be noticed. As we have seen today, this work is one of the most repertoire works in world piano music. Today we had fragments of this work performed by 4 great pianists: Sviatoslav Richter, Emil Gilels, Daniel Barenboim, and Ivo Pogorelic. Since it is played all the time, it shows that there is no depressive mood in music. On the contrary, it calls for life, movement, and light. We therefore see that Beethoven was able to overcome the tragic mood of the Heiligenstadt Testament and was able to continue the genius journey to such heights as Appassionata or Symphony No. 9, which was named one of UNESCO's official cultural heritage treasures, and the work of which we have spoken today is one of the great worthy steps to these heights.